quickly, tell me a little bit about your site, the Cornwall Free News. How long has it been going for?
The Cornwall Free News started in February 2009, so our third birthday is coming up. It's been a real success story. We are #1 in our market for news online. We're ahead of some of the traditional corporate giants like Sun Media that owns the Standard Freeholder, and of course that owns the Cornwall Daily, and the CY News is owned by Transcontinental. Our content's being seen by over 90,000 visitors a month right now. We cover national news, but we also cover local news. It's almost like we're schizophrenic. We're a little local paper with a very big outlook. We've interviewed federal leaders and all sorts of people from all over the world. And it's something I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the community because I could not have built the Cornwall Free News without the support of the community, from my investor Reg Coffee to the people that have contributed content to the people that read us, to our sponsors. We've had sponsors that have been supporting us since year one. So it really is a great community. And I've written over 4,500 pieces in this short time. We've shot over 800 video clips, and the public has commented almost 14,000 times.
So this is a full-time job, 7 days a week?
I work over 100 hours a week. Yeah, it's a sacrifice, but when you work for yourself, those are the prices you pay.
So tell me, obviously, a site like this needs advertisement to be able to survive. So this is a goal that you've achieved. I mean, are you able to live off?
Yes, we are supported by our sponsors, just like traditional media, whether it's in television, print, or radio. We don't get any funding. You know, as much as I love the CBC, you guys have the public purse to help make it as great as the CBC is. But every penny that comes through the door, we get no grants from the governments of any level, no donations of any kind. It's purely supported by our sponsors.
And I guess that it has grown over the years? It
has. We've gone from charging $25 an ad to what we currently charge. So it's come a long way. I mean, it's really been nothing but a straight arrow. And I think it's indicative of the fact that the public really wants news, and they want to be spoken to and be a part of the news. They don't just want traditional journalism the way it's become at a corporate level, less so on CBC than it is with certain other ones. And people can tell biases, and there's always been bias in the media. I mean, you know, people have certain perceptions of one media versus another media, and our mission statement is to allow any platform, anybody to share our platform and have their views shared, because like a soapbox, people will comment. So if you come up and make a statement about one thing, people will comment about it, and it's a great evening factor.
So tell me, you've been getting some attention as of late. Obviously, people read the website,
yes.
Even people from City Council.
People from City Council have always read this website. We've been writing about City Council and what goes on politically from day one. Politics are our bread and butter, whether it be at the local scene, the provincial scene, or the federal scene. I interviewed the late Jack Layton. I've interviewed, you know, Mayor Kilger was the first guest on our online radio station while it was running. We've always been involved in the political scene.
So tell me, what is the issue right now?
To be honest, I'm still confused. In business, when you have a client, if the client has a concern, they generally come to you and say, hey, I have an issue, and if you really can't address the issue, then I can't be your client anymore. And we were sort of broadsided by a phone call and a meeting where we were told that the city would no longer advertise on sites that had online anonymity and anonymous postings by people, or certain types of commentary. And when I had those first conversations, I said, whoever's pushing this, because, you know, city management, when you deal with economic development, which is what I deal with, they have a mandate to do, and when their bosses come to them, they have to address those issues. And I offered to come before council and talk about it. I offered to talk to individuals. I offered to help council to help build a policy with other media and create better understanding, because I think communication is the key. And there's some great people in city management and city government, but there's an older demographic here, and there's some people that don't quite understand how media works. And sometimes they get angry at one outlet and they take it out on another outlet. You know, when you have a company like the Standard Freeholder, which is part of a huge chain, getting them to respond is a lot more difficult than when you have a single independent outlet. And this has resulted in this policy that for some reason singled us out, along with the freeholder, in a way that for us was completely fictitious and not factual. We are not often filled with profanity or vicious personal attacks, nor are we unmoderated. We pre-moderate every single post and always have.
So you've always been doing that. But were they comments that were made on on your site that could have been
Absolutely,
defamatory, or?
Absolutely. And when you have as many comments in as short a period as we have, and it's done by a human, anytime you have a human doing a position, you have opportunity for error. And we have occasionally made errors. There was one error that occurred in the fall that I proactively, before there was even a complaint, when I realized what had happened, corrected it and wrote an apology. And in certain instances, that's what you have to do. It's not about making mistakes, it's about how you deal with the mistakes. And anytime someone has come to us and addressed a complaint to us, we tried to respond in the most productive and positive manner. My job as a small business is not to offend people or to cause issue. My job is to build bridges and to inform and entertain and to work with people as best I can and help support my community.
Are there any measures that you intend to take so that this type of problem doesn't occur again?
I think communication is key. There have been some very, very good conversations with some people at City Hall. I'm very sad that this has to be the type of publicity that comes to our city and to my business. I feel that for our business to be portrayed in this way, which we went to the city and said, you can't go forward with this report when it contains erroneous material about my business. You're going to hurt my business. And that wasn't addressed. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business has written a letter to the mayor and to the city asking that they address this issue. And you know, I'm hoping that smarter minds and calmer minds prevail and some sense comes in. I don't think you have to litigate every time there's a problem in this world. We're too litigious. I shouldn't have to sue the city for them to simply fix this error. I shouldn't have to go through what I've gone through, phone calls and emails. And you know, this isn't productive for anybody. And for small business, especially in this economic environment, you know, we should be supported, not attacked.
Do you think that this resolution was passed because of your side? Was it aimed at you directly?
I don't think the city as a whole did it. I think there's some individuals at City Hall that I just think this is the way they're used to dealing with things. You know, there's certain people in this culture that bully. You know, bullying is very big in the media right now. We do anti-bullying stories all the time. And I think there's a certain generation of people that are just used to bullying people. And I think that, you know, Cornwall is a city in transition. There's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of things that are growing here. And I think that the natural course of time is certain people are replaced in their positions, some sooner, maybe some later, will handle some of that. But sometimes other people have to step up and fix wrongs and prevent them from happening.
Without pointing fingers at specific people, did you have any beef with people over at City Hall over the past?
I have no beef. I actually had to litigate against another media outlet last year, and they now advertise with us. None of this for me is personal. This is business. I didn't initiate this. I know that there were some hard feelings over some stories that we did in the summer about the liftoff event. But again, those stories were accurate and they caused so much reaction because of the fact that there's an issue. You know, the city was upset about the communities and boom report by the CFIB where Cornwall finished 98 out of 100. But just the fact that there are a quarter as many members in Cornwall than Brockville, which is right nearby, yet Brockville is half our size, is indicative of the problems that small business face in this city. And you can't stick your head in the sand. You have to be proactive. If you want this city to thrive and grow, small business is the engine to develop it. You look at our downtown core, that's where the opportunity is. And instead of saying, wow, this is an issue, let's talk about it, let's work with people, let's work together and build this, like I'd like to do, some people became punitive and tried to attack my company.
And tell me, what's the next step? Are you going to file a complaint?
We went to the CFIB And they decided immediately to take up our cause on this because, frankly, it's wrong. And as a small company, I just don't have time to have to fight these kind of battles. There are bigger battles in the world to fight on behalf of other people and to cover news. And our motto is news, views, and reviews. We're very much an opinion-based media outlet. And we have material coming through all the time. This morning, a woman complained about a housing development that essentially is restricted. They won't allow people of color in there. And she's looking for support on that. And we've helped on other issues and causes. That's what I think Cornwall Free News is about, working with people and communicating things that sometimes mainstream media are afraid to tackle for various reasons. So dealing with these issues is not productive unless it can help stop these issues from happening to other outlets and other media.
Advertisement money coming from City Hall, is it important for this site?
If we don't sell advertising, we don't survive, whether it's to the city or anybody else. The city has to communicate messages. Like, for instance, we have the city bulletin posted on our site. The city pays less than 1/26th of what it does to the other media to have it posted. In a letter that I sent to City Council, I mentioned how last year they spent about $70,000 supporting Liftoff, which drew only about 40,000 people, where we, last year, I think we had $4,000 in advertising. Because this isn't about money, this is about principle, and this is about holding daggers over the media, which defeats the purpose of having media. We've drawn, like I said, 900,000 visitors by the end of this year. So you have to look at the bigger picture, and when you're entrusted by the people of any city or jurisdiction to represent them, you have to put your personal biases aside and you have to do what's best for your community. And if you can't do that, either the voters will figure it out or hopefully your colleagues do.
I'm going to stop you right there.